I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, March the 30th, 2015. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met yesterday with a delegation from the U.S. Senate, led by Republican Senator Mitch McConnell. He also spoke over the weekend to Democratic Senator Harry Reid, expressing his deep concerns to both men of a possible bad deal with Iran as nuclear talks between Iran and the P5+1 are taking place in Lausanne, Switzerland. In a press conference alongside the Prime Minister yesterday, McConnell reaffirmed the U.S. commitment to Israel and shared concerns about Iran.
I want to assure all Israelis that the U.S.-Israel relationship is still, no matter what's been said in recent weeks, in very, very strong shape on a bipartisan basis in the U.S. Congress.
In speaking later yesterday to his cabinet meeting, Netanyahu said that both McConnell and Reid reaffirmed the strong and bipartisan support for Israel on the part of the U.S. And former U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton expressed her commitment to the bipartisanship of the U.S.-Israel relationship. Clinton told Executive Vice Chairman of the Conference of Presidents of Major American Jewish Organizations, Malcolm Hoenlein, in a recent telephone conversation that cooperation is needed to, quote, return the special U.S.-Israel relationship to constructive footing to get back to basic shared concerns and interests. She said this includes a two-state solution achieved through direct negotiations between Israelis and Palestinians. Former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert was found guilty today of accepting money from American Jewish businessman Morris Moshe Talansky. The case was reopened 2.5 years after Olmert was acquitted in the case, but reopened after Olmert's former bureau chief Shula Zaken handed over evidence as part of a plea bargain. The Jerusalem District Court unanimously found Olmert guilty of fraud, breach of trust, and aggravated fraud. A sentencing hearing is set for May the 5th. Olmert's lawyers said he would appeal. The Anti-Defamation League released their audit of anti-Semitic incidents today. An increase in the U.S. of such incidents by 21% last year was shown. The ADL noted that 2014 was a particularly violent year for Jews, with the deadly shooting attack targeting Jewish community buildings in Kansas and a spike of anti-Jewish sentiment during the war between Israel and Hamas this past summer in Gaza. ADL National Director Abe Foxman said while the overall number of anti-Semitic incidents remains lower than we have seen historically, the fact remains that 2014 was a particularly violent year for Jews both overseas and in the United States. The ADL reported that the total number of anti-Semitic acts still represents one of the lowest totals of such acts reported by the organization since it started keeping records in 1979. And Kansas shooter Frazier Glenn Miller pled not guilty to murder charges on Friday. The 74-year-old, who is a former Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, entered the plea in the U.S. District Court in Johnson County, Kansas. On April the 13th of 2014, Miller is accused of murdering 69-year-old Dr. William Lewis Corcoran, his 14-year-old grandson Reed Griffin Underwood outside the JCC of Greater Kansas City in Overland Park, and then killing 53-year-old Terry Lamano at a nearby Jewish retirement home. Miller had told the Kansas City Star soon after the murders that after being diagnosed with emphysema, he wanted to make sure that he killed some Jews before he died. None of his victims were Jewish. Judge Thomas Kelly Ryan has set an August 17th trial date for Miller. Israel's Education Ministry announced today that it will award the Israel Prize for Lifetime Achievement to veteran actor Chaim Topol. The now 79-year-old Topol is best known for his beloved role of Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof. He starred in the 1971 film version of the show and won a Golden Globe Award and was nominated for an Oscar. The Israel Prize Committee called Topol one of the pillars of Israel's cultural industry. Topol told Israel's Army Radio this morning that he was very moved by the honor. Acclaimed Jewish Broadway director Gene Saks has died. Saks was best known for directing the plays of Neil Simon, including Brighton Beach Memoirs and Biloxi Blues, for which he won Tony Awards. Back in 1987, Saks had told the New York Times of Simon, "He writes about things I know about and care about, We both come from middle-class, first-generation Jewish families, and our humor springs from the same roots. Sachs's many film directing credits include Barefoot in the Park, The Odd Couple, and Cactus Flower. He died Saturday at his home in East Hampton from pneumonia. Gene Sachs was 93. He is survived by his second wife, Karen Sachs, their daughter, and 2 sons from his previous marriage to actress Bea Arthur. And turning now to our programming for tonight, Monday, March the 30th. Coming up at 7:30, a live show featuring a conversation with one of American Jewry's foremost historians, Dr. Jeffrey Guruk, discussing his new book of alternative American Jewish history, Holocaust Averted, which imagines what American Jewish life would have been like from 1938 to 1967 if there had never been a Holocaust. And then at 9 tonight on L'Chaim, one of America's foremost novelists, Jonathan Safran Foer, explains why he created the new American Haggadah and discusses his feelings for Jewish life with Rabbi Michael Paley of UJA Federation of New York. That's tonight on JBS and jbstv.org. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, March the 30th, 2015. I'm Teisha Bader.